I should have expected some kind of guardian that would defend Ukaizo. Of course, Aethys would just soul-suck them and or stomp on them as he walked by if they attacked him. But by the guardian's own words, Aethys was one of them and was allowed to pass. Well, it was a very tough battle, but I've sort of come to expect these things lately. I suppose Aethys knew of it, but he's never really made it easy on me to follow him, has he? Well, I won't hold it against Aethys. Maybe not this time. We are a tough group and can deal with just about whatever is thrown at us. I am a little concerned at the thought of dealing with guardians all over the city, though. I really hope that this was the last of them. If it is, then great. If it's just the start of what we can expect, then, well, maybe I will be a little displeased. That would get quite ridiculous to come all this way just to find that Ukaizo is pretty much impassable due to guardians around every corner. Though one would think that these things would all be disabled and worn out after 2 millennia. A few of them are, as we can see the scattered corpses of them, but if some are still working after 2,000 years, you know that the ancient Huana were quite advanced and built things to last. The Huana fleet that helped us to get here is still offshore, keeping the storm at bay for now, but I don't expect them to stay for that much longer. Their water shapers can only keep this up for so long. So, we need to get these storms to stop, or we will not be able to remain here. Which means that we have a city to enter and explore, and hopefully, Aethys will be easy to find. You'd think he would be due to his massive size and that giant Adra statue, but no, the storms make it difficult to see everything. What is this purplish thing coming at me? I guess it's the remains of the construct.
On it.
A faint echo of soul energy blinks up at me from the depths of the wreckage. Strange. Oh, look at all these items. Definitely helpful if we want to create, or enchant anything, or create anything. But our items are pretty much some of the best that you can find throughout the Deadfire. Our equipment, I should say. Gwithin Shield, Awakened Adra. This pile of debris hums with ancient power. Well, I hope we don't face that the entire way through. I want to get to Aethys, and that's what really matters here. I mean, I did take an injury. I shouldn't probably go in melee the next combat, if there is another combat. If it can be helped, obviously sometimes they come to you. Okay, so we have a whole island here, not just the harbor to explore. And things look a little messed up in the more northern part. Yeah, the area that was cleared, that I guess we just had a passage cleared that we can get through, but for the most part, storms are everywhere. So the next place along the way is the Grand Promenade. Take us 31 minutes to get there. Yeah. Storms, rain, wind. Not exactly a pleasant place to be. I'm surprised that anything even remains here. It's not all destroyed by the wind and everything else. The lightning.
Has it been this way since the age of my ancestors?
And the rain. Yes, I guess it has been, Takehu.
Will do.
Erosion has softened the bronze features, giving the proud statue a brooding air. Descending into the city would be suicide while the relentless storm rages on. Yeah, we have to pick areas that we can get through. We just can't start exploring. I mean, we have to find Aethys. You'd think he'd be easy to find, considering he's so bloody large. But with the storms obscuring everything, we just have to press on to where we think he might be. A furious storm obscures the sprawling city below, but I can make out the shape of distant spires reaching up from flooded ruins. Spirit winds tug on my soul with insistence, like a stern hand trying to pull a cloak from my back. I recall the last time I encountered a bivouac. Feels a long lifetime ago. Ah, right when we went to the Deerwood. That's when we first encountered that bivouac. So, I turn to my companions. Here we are. I look to those who have accompanied me this far, who risked everything to face the confrontation ahead. How are you, something on your mind, Shoti?
We gonna do this or what?
Shoti licks her chapped lips, dark gaze narrowing as she takes in the sight of the ancient city's ruins. Raised high, her lantern casts hard shadows over the planes of her face.
We've made it this far, yet we're still alive. Might as well square off with my god before our luck runs dry.
Takehu's lips curve in an approving smirk. Aloth gives me a pained look. Oh, Aloth. Huh. If we survive this... No, never mind. I'll tell you after.
I'll hold you to that.
A cheeky grin blooms, but just as quickly dies. Think we can reason with him?
It didn't work so good at Mogren's teeth, now. But sure, we can try to sway my god's will again.
Your god, huh?
Well, if anyone could do it, I reckon it'd be you. Tell me, Watcher, can there be a god of light and birth if souls themselves can no longer be reborn?
Yeah, this is an awful gamble. She points her lantern towards the shadowed ruins in the distance, Ukaizo's broken bones.
I thought it'd be different how it turned out, but I couldn't dream of any other way.
Shoti sets her jaw, grim.
Now then, shall we go face my god for one last time? Find out what it is we can or can't do in these end times. Whether we're meant to wither or thrive.
Yep, let's go.
Consider me your second shadow.
I wouldn't want it any other way. Shoti thumbs the copper cage of her lantern, a subconscious attempt to reassure herself. How are you feeling about all this, Adair? Adair's gaze wanders among glinting archways and half-collapsed spires, his mouth agape.
Gilded Vale got its name from the way the wheat fields used to look in the sun. But this place really is gilded. Might as well be a different world.
In a way it was, before it ended.
Ended. Yet here we are, all the same. These great people got a funny way of passing on. They disappear from the world, but leave their problems behind for the rest of us to deal with.
That's the Ingwithans for you. At least Aethys seems to be trying to correct that.
He does. I guess he's got that over the rest of them.
Glad you're in agreement.
God of redemption, trying to redeem the gods.
He shakes his head.
What a mess.
Adair looks to Aethys in the distance and sighs. You're looking thoughtful, Aloth. Aloth looks out at the sprawling ancient city.
5 years ago, you controlled the destiny of thousands of souls in Sun and Shadow.
He pauses, considering the vista.
But the choice you make today shall define the fate of every living thing in Aora.
He turns to me. Curiosity shines in his eyes, but there's something else there. Pity. I have a responsibility to do right by the world. I'll make the best decision I can.
I know you will.
He smiles.
I know you'll choose wisely. And no matter what happens, it's been an honor journeying with you. Again.
He puts his hands on my shoulder, meeting my gaze with a fond smile. He turns back to regard the great city before me. Here we are, Takehu. How does it feel?
I am thinking that Aethys has come this far, and he will not wait on you before he finishes what he started.
Takehu regards me with a raised brow and a cautious smile.
If he shatters what is sat in the heart of Ukaizo, this action will ripple beyond the dead fire, beyond life as we know it.
Yeah.
I will make sure that what we find here goes toward the Hawana cause. The Crown's faith in Ngati's chosen will be justified.
He nods, resolute and ready. He turns to face his surroundings, struggling to take in everything at once.
The land of my mothers, as real as anything that rises up from the bed of the sea. Also, smaller than I expected.
He lets out an exhausted laugh.
This should be as interesting as the last time I confronted a god-possessed Adra Colossus.
Shrugging, Takehu gestures ahead. Well, you get around, but I know you haven't done this before.
Captain, I am my mother's son. I have seen things you would not believe.
He folds his arms and winks.
What say? Shall we find him, Captain?
Takehu nods, his brow furrowed. Takehu gestures to the path ahead, his lips twitching in a hesitant smile. I think we're as ready as we can be. Let's go. Well, depends what we're about to face, really does.
I've got it.
A tiny engraving reads, "In memory of Dumu, Tapua, and Tokima, Ngati's first chosen."
Yeah?
You with us, Prissy?
Right.
Prissy seems to be doing alright. Alright, there's a spire ahead. Let's go for it. Take us an hour and 25 minutes to complete our journey from Grand Palmround to Under Spire. Well, isn't this interesting? Wow, that is a lot of energy going right through there. Is this the wheel? Have we finally made it to the wheel? This is the actual wheel of reincarnation for all Kith on Aora.
Will do.
Though the device atop the tower spins in wild, blurring revolutions, the air around it is still and calm. I stand in the eye of the storm which has cordoned off Andra's Mortar from the rest of Aora for thousands of years. I see an antiquated control panel, its levers engaged in positions of activation. Standing uncharacteristically still, Takehu turns his head to take in his surroundings all at once. A deep furrow cleaves his brow. Something the matter, Takehu?
I have stood here before.
He sniffs, glancing around with an air of familiarity, settling on details like they were old friends. Memories of a past life. How?
As a boy, I dreamed of a tower made of water. I stood at the pinnacle and made obeisance to Mother Ngati. This tower, this view.
He plants his hands on his hips and surveys the vista beyond, nodding. Maybe Ngati was trying to tell you something.
Kara, just so.
Takehu nods, weighing the matter with care.
Ngati's covenant, the first form of water shaping. It is here, waiting for me.
He glances up at the spinning machinery with a mixture of apprehension and wonder. Glance toward where he's looking. Beyond the machinery itself, Takehu seems to be focusing on the storms, or merely the empty air. He shakes his head when he takes note of my attention.
I can feel it all around this place. The ones who built these machines used our connection to Ngati against us. These storms are a perversion of my art, an expression of beauty as a weapon.
How is that possible?
The tribes always said that Ngati's chosen would show them the way to the past. I do not think they meant it so literally as this, that I would stand on glorious Ukaizo. Now that I am here, it is like the city herself wishes to speak.
Takehu winces and touches his brow. I reach out with my senses and try and experience what he feels. The sense of age and weariness about Ukaizo is undeniable. I try to pick out any lingering soul from the ambience, but the storm in the center of the city makes my work difficult. And then it hits me, a presence that suffuses the air around this machine. An accumulation of very ancient soul energy is anchored to this point, commanding my attention.
Dumu the Eldest, Tapua the Wise, and Tokima the Recaller. Step forward and be recognized.
A feminine voice echoes from across millennia.
You are the stewards of my covenant. For so long as your people guard the Isles, the Audra, and themselves, then a measure of my power is theirs to command.
Her words grow indistinct, and I find myself pushed away from the moment. My focus slips, depositing me back in the present with a wave of nausea. These were not the memories of someone dead, but someone very powerful who intentionally bound a fragment of themselves to the spot, and she did not wish for just anyone to listen. You were right, Takehu, the Covenant is here.
So beautiful. But look what they have done with you.
He reaches a shaking hand up to the storm, curling his fingers in as if to grasp at something. That's what the Anguithans do. He covers his heart with one hand and lowers his head, muttering a slow and fervent prayer. From the broiling madness of the storm, a single drop of water lands on Takehu's brow, running down his cheek like a tear. Takehu wipes his eyes dry with his thumb. He pauses to stare down at his hand as if seeing it for the first time. I say nothing.
I remember.
He clenches his hands into fists. The storm surges around us as the wind picks up speed. Takehu's head snaps back and his eyes squeeze shut in agony, ecstasy, or both. He rouses at last, shaking a few droplets of moisture from his hair.
I am the tremor that inspires the tidal wave, the pebble that calls the avalanche. Mother, your son has found his birthright where you left it.
Takehu raises his fists to the sky and lets out an uproarious laugh. Eventually, he shifts his focus over to me.
My people never doubted that Ngati's Chosen would find our ancient gift. Kara, I did not share their confidence until now. I am ready, Watcher. Let us finish what we started.
He nods to me, resolved and wearing a fierce grin. A deep percussion shakes the tower by its roots. Somewhere in the obscurity of the storm, Aethys rears back his fist to deliver a mighty blow. The control panel has weathered the millennia better than the rest of the city. A layer of dust covers its elegant glass tubes and engraved copper levers, which appear both intact and fully functional. Okay then, let's deactivate the machine. I grip the largest of the levers and bring it up to its starting position. The vibration of machinery gradually slows and turbulent winds grow calm. Or is this machine... Yeah, that's... on purpose created the storms? It must be. It's not the wheel.
The machine controlling the storm winds down. The clattering of its machinery settles into a low whir and then, at last, hiccups to a halt. Beyond the tower, the black, roiling clouds of Andra's mortar roll away from the ancient city of Ukaizo, with only a tired sigh of wind to see them off. And on that last breath of wind, comes to you a familiar sound. The ring of a bell.
The gods wish to speak to me again. Well, if it's not Wudica alone, some of them have to have sense. Or maybe I just have to shout at them and tell them off, as I did to Wudica.
The bell's ringing is soft, not the clangor and torrent you've grown used to. It calls to your soul, and your soul yearns to follow it. Your soul flees from your body and into the beyond, chasing that sound. It leads you at last to Bareth's realm, to that cold platform and room of endless doors.
Watcher, your journey nears its conclusion.
The Pallid Knight stands before you, her gaunt face impassive.
What will come after this?
That will depend on the will of Kith, whose desires are ever in flux. Soon you will confront Aethys for what will likely be the final time, and you will do so as the Herald of Barath, the only creature on the face of Eora to whom he will listen. Remember that.
I don't think I've forgotten it.
The Pallid Knight inclines her head to you, black hair hanging lank in her face. She steps back and cedes the floor to Helia with a small, resigned sigh.
Helia is the only proper good god amongst all of them. Although, I think that sometimes Helia does more. The intentions are good, but what Helia does and Helia's actions aren't always the best for all Kith. Although the intentions are good.
If Aethys truly intends to go through with his mad plan to destroy the Wheel, a generation's worth of souls will be trapped in the in-between. So many would suffer. How can Aethys be so cruel? He cannot just abandon them. Aethys must help the Kith find a quick solution.
As opposed to Rimmergan destroying all souls in the end, and all of Eora, you gods need to go.
Abaddon strides forward.
Aethys thrust this crisis on the Kith. They did not bring it upon themselves. Their only mistake was in trusting us to watch over them. Who will help them rebuild their world now?
Aethys will reveal every secret of the gods. Will Kith be able to change the established order if they have no wonder to inspire them? Aethys must help them resolve this quickly, lest every one of Eora's few remaining mysteries be laid plain.
I don't care about mysteries. There shouldn't be secrets of the world that only the gods know. What's wrong with you? I say nothing.
With the wheel destroyed, Kith will tear themselves apart. It is the gods' duty to prevent that happening, lest they doom us all. And as Kith must be ruled, so too must the gods. I say that if Aethys is so eager to throw down the mantle of power and step aside, I shall take my rightful place as Queen of the Gods again.
Now, you see, that's why I am helping Aethys. I don't want you, especially to rule the gods or Eora, you and your little servant Skaen.
Kith are strongest when they follow our lead, and we are strongest when we lead in turn. United in purpose with the gods, Kith can accomplish things that without us, they could never have even begun. They must be shown their boundaries to surpass them.
I don't agree.
Kith will not solve Aethys' puzzle on their own. And without an established order to fight against, the bonds that bind them dissolve, and they fight amongst themselves.
Well, maybe we need to reorder the world because of the way that you guys have ordered it. Boudica doesn't want them to solve it. She wants to be queen over you all.
Boudica's firm hand is but the motherly smothering of Helia by another name. Mortals should have no special advantages. Only once Kith have striven to improve themselves through trial will they truly know their measure. Kith must suffer to find their strength if they are to survive the world into which Aethys drags them.
Have they not suffered enough? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.